So before beginning today's shloka, let's first take the blessings from our ISKCON deities. जय जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा माई की जय, गौर निताई की जय, पंचतत्व की जय, गिरि गोवर्धन की जय, शील प्रभुपाद की जय, गुरु महाराज की जय. Let's do the prayer. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानजनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः. नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमती भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनीति नामिनि. नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणी. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तविंद. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम रामा हरे हरे. So we are in chapter number 14 and today we are going to see shlok number 19. So the three modes of material nature. Okay, so the three modes of material nature. So rising above these three modes of material nature is very important subject matter. So if you see from shlok number 19 to 27 of this chapter number 14 tells us to raise above these three modes, right? And the one who raise above these three modes of this material nature, he is called as Gunatirth, right? So what are the three modes of material nature? Can anybody tell the three modes of material nature?
Goodness, passion, and ignorance.
Exactly, yes. So the person actually raise away these three modes of material nature. He is called as Gunatirth. So if you see, Arjuna is questioning Lord here. How we can actually go above these three modes of material nature. What are the symptoms? So symptoms and behavior of the person who actually raise above these three modes of material nature. So we'll see the shloka and translation. न अन्यं गुणेभ्यः कर्तारं यदा दृष्टा अनुपश्यति गुणेभ्यः च परं वेति मद्भावं स अधिगच्छति. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When one properly sees that in all activities no other than performer is at work, then this three mode of nature, and he knows the Supreme Lord, who is transcendental to all these modes, he attain my spiritual nature. So very important. Huh? So Lord is teaching two important points here. So first two, so this shloka has 4 lines, right? So first 2 lines, there is some teaching, and next 2 lines, there is some teaching by the Lord. So we'll see what about the first 2 lines. So here, Lord says here that human nature works under the 3 modes of material nature. So what it actually means? So if you see in the purport, what Prabhupada is mentioning is a very important point. So he is saying that actually the living entity is not the performer of different activities. He is forced to act because he is situated in a particular type of body conducted by some particular mode of material nature. So what it means? That means, see, we always think we are doing something, right? So whatever we are doing, we are saying we are doing something, but that is not actually the truth. The actual truth is the 3 modes. See, every person, we discussed last time also that every person is having mix and match of these 3 modes, right? So every person will have some or other portion of this three modes of material nature. Now this, so we have taken a body, right, with this mode of material nature. So this mode of material nature within us, it is actually forcing us to do something, right? So if you take as an example also, many times what happen when some person actually murders somebody, and after some time when he was questioned, he always says that at that point of time something has happened. I don't know. I was out of my control. Like that, there are many other things, right? What happens? We are out of control and we do something. So actually, what is happening is this three mode of nature is actually forcing us to do something, right? That is what Prabhupada is mentioning here. So this is the first two line, and the second two line, if you see, Lord is saying, Lord nature himself is beyond this three mode of material nature. So every human being actually is under the provision of this three mode of material nature, but Lord is not under that. Lord is beyond. He has crossed already. And if you actually see Lord, this three mode of material nature is controlled by Lord himself. So now coming back, let's try to understand this. How we can cross this three mode of material nature. So how actually we'll know what is right and what is wrong? Any idea how we'll come to know whether we are doing something right or wrong? How we'll come to know this? So actually speaking, if we have a perfect knowledge, right? So when we have a proper knowledge, we'll know whether it is right or wrong, isn't it? So through this knowledge only, we'll come to know what is spirit and what is matter. We are always saying, right? Ki we are soul, we are not material body. So through knowledge only, we'll come to know what is spirit and what is matter. So if you see right from chapter number 7 till 12, right from, 12 to 18, actually it is a Gyan Yoga. So it is actually giving us all this knowledge. So that is why knowledge is very important if you want to go for bhakti. It is actually a preparation to go inside doing bhakti. So one who knows this, ki what is spirit, what is matter, he is a knowledgeable person. And one who can differentiate between soul and body. Such person is called as Jnani. Okay. So Jnani is not, acquiring some certificate and going to very, prestigious college. So actual Jnani is one who actually knows to differentiate between the soul and body. So a person who knows this material or spiritual thing, what happens? Once you know this, you will actually attach to spiritual things and you will automatically detach with the material things. So you may also ask why I have to detach from material things and why I have to attach with spiritual things. So we already know this in our previous shlokas. We have learned this, that material things give us a lot of pain, right? That is why we have to detach from the material things. So my identity is not the body, but the soul. We have repeated this many times. So once I know this, I automatically get attached with spirituality. So attachment with Lord. So attachment with spirituality means attaching with the Lord. and detaching from Maya. So these are two opposite things, Lord and Maya, right? If you go towards Maya, you get away from Lord. If you go towards Lord, you get detached from Maya. So once you know this, then you start doing bhakti. You cannot reach to the bhakti stage until and unless one have this knowledge completely. So another thing is there here. So this three mode of material nature is very powerful. You cannot beat it. You cannot defeat. You cannot easily come out of it. But how we can get out of it? So unless one has the help of spiritual authority, he cannot understand in what position he is actually situated. So there should be some spiritual authority. So until we meet with someone who is beyond these three modes of material nature, we cannot cross these three modes. So why we need to cross this three mode of material nature? Because as we discussed, there are these three modes are actually the causes of actual miseries. So we know that miseries are birth, death, old age, and disease. So how you read Bhagavad Gita or take how much ever knowledge you take, until and unless you get the guidance from a person who actually take you above these three modes of material nature, you cannot get out of it. So now the question will come, ki how you will get that person. So one thing we are very sure now that what is body, what is soul, and why we came to this earth. We came to this earth because we desired. So we born here. So we wanted to enjoy our desire by separating from Krishna. So we are put here to enjoy away from Krishna. So we got this material body, and the moment we get this material body, we get also a agency, right? We get a agency which is nothing but this material nature, and that have three agents. Which are these three agents? Satogun, Rajogun, and Tamogun are the three agents. So through these three agents, our desire get fulfilled. So a person may desire for good property, asset, family. He get it through in this material world. Actually, he get it, and after some time, what happens? The misery starts. So what are the that misery? That misery is to maintain it, isn't it? So whatever we desire, we get it, but then maintaining it, the misery starts. So this material body is the proof that we wanted to get separated from Krishna and make our desire fulfilled. So now when we got this knowledge about all these things, why we have come here, how we have separated from Krishna, when we get this knowledge through this Gyan Yoga, we have to, now what we have to do, we have to engage this body to serve Krishna. Because we have to go back, right? We don't want to get into these miseries. We want to go back and serve Krishna. So if you take the example of Amrish Maharaj, what he used to do? He used to use his eyes to see Lord. And his ear, he used to hear Krishna Leelas. He used his tongue for chanting and eating prasadam. He used to use his hand for temple cleaning and legs to go to temple doing parikrama. Mind, he used his mind to think about Lord. So important point here is we have to engage all our indriya in the service of Krishna. Indriya is senses. All our senses we have to engage for serving Krishna. How Amrish Maharaj did. So because of karma only we got this body. So only way now to cross this three modes, we have to use this indriya or senses to serve Krishna. So if you see here, what is the function of mind? If you see, our mind have three functions. What are these three functions? One is thinking, feeling, and willing. So how you will divert your mind towards this three things? So you think, so when mind function of doing thinking, you share Bhagavad Gita knowledge to others, your friends, families. You think about it and share it. Huh? Then feeling, so you feel about Krishna, do prayer. And willingness is willing to chant. Huh? So that way, if you don't do, then what happens? You will think all negative things. Your feelings will always, go towards doing wrong things. And even your willingness will be towards the negative things. So mind we have to engage like this. And then we have intelligence. What is the function of intelligence? So our intelligence always do planning, right? So if we don't plan to serve Krishna, what will happen? We'll start planning all material things. Okay, then again we'll get into trouble. So that is how we have to control our mind and intelligence. So that is about the first two line of shloka, where it is talking about the three modes of material nature and how we have to overcome. If you see the next two line of the shloka, it is talking about, so we discussed about who is the spiritual authority, because without spiritual authority we cannot cross this three mode of material nature. That is why we need the association of a bona fide spiritual master, because he can see our real position, and by understanding he can actually become. So when we understand this and he understand about us, we will become fixed in full Krishna consciousness. And the person who is under Krishna consciousness, he cannot be controlled by this material mode of the nature. So if you see in the chapter number 7, it is already stated that one who is surrendered to Krishna is relieved. He is relieved from the activities of material nature. We have already discussed this in chapter number 7. So for one who is able to see these things, right, the influence of material nature gradually ceases. So he is actually start getting relieved from this material miseries. So what is the takeaway for today is two things. One is how to cross this three mode of material nature we discussed. So how we do that? By engaging our senses, and we need a spiritual guru. Without that, it is very difficult. So that is one takeaway. The other takeaway is we have learned that Lord is always away from this three mode of nature, material nature. And once we cross this three mode of material nature, we get a similar nature like Lord. We cannot be equal. That we have to remember, that we cannot make ourselves equal to Lord, but we get very similar kind of nature of Lord. So that is about today's shloka. So Granth Bhagavad Gita ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So if there is any questions, we can try to discuss. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji,
Okay.
Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Prabhuji, so you can stop the recording, Prabhu. We can continue with the
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Prabhuji,
Krishna
Dandavat
class.
Pranam.
Can you stop the recording, Prabhu? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu.